This morning during the class, since we're doing the Sutra Winning, um, something that since last week we've been talking about it, and it was the no thought, which has been an interesting topic because, and personally, it's been I would say a struggle in a way. It's about what is it? What is no thought? How do you actually experience it? I guess, and that's exactly what this morning we discussed. Though no thought. It's we have this understanding, or I guess misconception, of thought as being something that we do consciously, and we usually identify with thought, which is to begin with. We identify with thought, then we think that our thoughts are our identity. So to begin with, that's something that we tend to do. All human beings, we think in this manner, and then we identify with such and such. We think, or we like something, and we identify with whatever it is that we do, and then we identify with that. We like music, and our thoughts are about music, so we identify with those thoughts, and then, oh, I'm a musician. So therefore, we go in life identifying ourselves with so many things that at one point, we just have so many, our mind is so shattered in so many different thoughts or ideas and so many identities that we politically we might have an identity, and then as a person, like I say, it could be music, and then it could be sports, and then we got so many personalities that at one point we're just like all over, and then we identify with those thoughts. Well, when we say I'm thinking, the process that we're doing is more of an analytical thinking that we do, which is just a reaction of the gates of the body. The skandhas, the five skandhas. So we're constantly being fed by our surroundings, and we hear something, we react to it. Pleasant, non-pleasant. We experience heat or cold, so we're pleasant, unpleasant. Then we taste food. I like food. This food tastes good. This food doesn't taste good. I like this food. I don't like this food. We see things that we constantly are putting into dual perspective. I like what I see. I don't like what I see. And also, most importantly, the mind. Our mind is constantly choosing, and therefore we start doing this analytical process, and therefore we say, "Oh, I'm thinking." Well, it's just like a computer doing a program, executing a program. It's not really thinking. You're just reacting to a certain situation that might arise. It could be, like I say, you're outside, and right now it's kind of cold outside, so your body, your mind is analyzing, and therefore you believe that you're thinking because you're analyzing, and it's just a reaction to your body. And that's how we usually just go about everything. And I've been suspecting, I would say, that thinking is something we're not really close to know. Thinking it's something beyond our regular everyday mind. It's just we're constantly just reacting. Everything is a reaction to something. It could be, like I said, to the immediate environment. It could be at one moment a reaction to something in our past, and it just comes up. Your reaction to something that you're going through your immediate environment brings something in the past. It is just, you're going back to that point in your life, and we don't even think about it. It's so automatic, and our memories are so buried in our everyday mind that they don't even have a label for it. It's just this feeling that you get out of something. This morning we were talking, and every time I see these metallic red and metallic blue colors, and it just started happening a couple of years ago or some time ago, that every time I see this metallic red and blue, I go back to a Christmas back in Mexico when I was very little. And my mom bought this Christmas adornment, this Christmas spheres, the ones you hang on the Christmas tree. And every time I look at something that is red or blue metallic, I am automatically in my house looking at the Christmas tree. And I know exactly. So I could be anywhere. The other day I'm driving, and then this car, I'd never seen a car like this. Blue metallic. Completely metallic. And there I am. I'm in my house 45 years ago looking at a Christmas tree. So those kind of memories are hitting in our memories, in our everyday mind. And it could be a thought, it could be a smell, it could be something that you touch, and it reminds you or something, and at the same time it brings back a memory. And if your memory was something unpleasant, you more likely created a deterrent to not ever experience it again. So that memory could come back, and therefore somewhere in your mind you had a bad experience as a child, which we all have had, and something, you were ridiculed, and at that moment something happened, and there was a green chair that that at that moment you were feeling that that shame that you were being ridiculed, and all you have in that moment is that green chair in front of you. So you see a green chair, so therefore you said, I'm never ever gonna feel this ridicule or this feeling of shame. So that memory, that green chair, is gonna bring back something that you're going to actually not get into. Like, oh, this green chair reminds me that I'm never gonna ever feel ridiculed. So we're constantly just going back and forth between our memories and our reactions, and so it's going back into the past, and then it brings you into the future. So it's always, we're being driven by our body, our mind. So we're never actually thinking or being in control. So no thought is actually going beyond all your memories, all your reactions, going beyond what your body tells you, what your mind tells you, and it's just being in there, being like, there are quite a few of us in here that are musicians, and when you're playing, you're not thinking, you're just going for it. It's just like you get the instrument and you start listening to the music, and boom, you're into it. You don't need to think. The moment you think, I bet that you make a mistake with your instrument. That's what happens. Same thing with basketball. I played college basketball back in Mexico, and I remember that when I was just out there on the court, it'd be just reacting, watching the team going, where's the ball, and your reaction would be automatic, what you needed to do because you were trained for it. So no thought is just going beyond your rational mind and going beyond your thinking mind. And it doesn't mean that you're going to stop thinking. It means that you are above your thinking, above your reactions, above anything that might be going through your mind, and you're just doing it. You're just there with whatever you're doing. And this happens especially when we're doing what we like, which should be actually with everything that we do, not just what we like, but also what we don't like. And this morning, Roshi mentioned, and he said something that is, it just opened a big new thing for me, and about discipline. You know, discipline is doing what you don't like to do. And I think that's when we have discipline and we do what we don't like to do. I think that's when we are actually opening a gap in between our thinking mind and our non-thinking mind. Because the fact that you're doing something that you don't want to do, it's getting you beyond your mind. You're going against your natural flow, doing things because that's what you like. You do what you like, and we'll always try to avoid doing things that we don't like. So just like that, you know, when you come across something that you don't like to do but you have to do, it just opens a big gap in your thinking mind. And it's the same thing with any situation in life. You know, you come across a situation that you are really uncomfortable with. Many times we try to avoid situation, but we know that we need to, certain people that we know that we need to talk to and just clear things with these people. But we always try to avoid because, I don't know, we don't want a confrontation, we don't want the trouble, we don't want, but anytime that we actually go beyond our own thoughts, beliefs, opinions, and open ourselves to what's beyond, we're going to this space of not thought. Like, you know, when you have to talk to someone, it could be about anything. It could be a situation at work. And, you know, you have to talk to this person and tell them that what they're doing is not particularly helping, but you don't want to because it's just like, it could be uncomfortable. But the moment you go and do it, you're actually not thinking. You're just there because it requires your full attention to resolve the situation in the best manner. That's the not thought. That's when we go into that space that could let us see beyond. And I'm of the particular belief that the only reason why we don't experience the universe as it is, that, you know, the vast universe, is because we're always thinking. We're always having opinions about what it is, or what it should be, or what it should feel like, instead of just being there and experiencing. Like when we sit to meditate, you know, if we're just there and start, I guess, little by little breaking that wall, that barrier of thought that we got always going, which is the barrier between us and experiencing the universe in its true nature, which is the same as the barrier that we put in between us people. Just, we can't experience people in their own true nature, like exactly how they are, because we're always having opinions about them. And they did this to me, they didn't do this to me, and you like certain people, you don't like certain people. So when we go beyond and have that no thought and see someone and we just don't have any thoughts about it, we'll experience people in their own true nature and you will understand them. And you'll see that it doesn't matter what they did to you or what they do that you don't like what they do. You'll see them in their own true nature. And you will see that they're not right and they're not wrong. They're just doing the best they can. And that brings us to equanimity and wisdom, that's what we were looking at this morning. And that's equanimity and wisdom, which in the sutra, the winning sutra, is basically the same. When you have equanimity and wisdom, it's because you are seeing beyond and you're not having any thoughts. You are in the not thought zone, and you can experience people, which is and quite an experience, because in that sense, no one in this universe is doing anything wrong. Things they do might not work, but are they wrong? It could be just an opinion. So when you see, and it doesn't mean that when people do break the law, don't need to be punished. They need to be punished. We're living in a society of law, so if you break the law, well, we'll have to pay for it. But judging is a different thing. So we see things, people in their true nature, will be experiencing equanimity and wisdom, and we'll just be there with them. Experience them, not judge them. And it doesn't mean that we have to hang out with people that are not really doing good things. But it means that we don't judge them. We just accept them for whom they are, and certain people in our lives, we understand, oh, this is how they are. They're not, what they do doesn't work for me because of, might be a situation, so you move on. But you don't judge them, and you don't go with grudges against them. So we experience people in their true nature, and we'll understand every single person in the universe. Even if we have a grudge with them or anything, we'll just see them as what they are. And it's the same thing with the universe. It's the same thing with, with the absolute. Just being there and not having any thoughts about it, being in equanimity, just seeing everything as it is. I'm sure that all of us are capable of it. And that's exactly what Buddha thought. We all have a Buddha nature. So it's just our own thoughts and barriers that separates us from experiencing. So, is that enlightenment? I don't know. But I'm pretty sure that it's a step closer to it.